Okay, still in the spirit of Christmas, we have another senior clergyman who joins us in the studio, the General Overseer of the Restoration Life Assembly International, WUYE. That's Reverend Dr. Uduchi Majesty Odinkanwa. Thank you, sir,
Thank
for finding
you,
time to be with us on the
me.
program.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I can see you decked out in some red. Red and white typically is associated with the Christmas season.
Yes.
What are the lovely things we ought to remind ourselves of on a day like this?
It's a very powerful and imperative day in the life of humanity, not just the Christendom. If you're talking about Christmas, you are talking about the redemption of man from everlasting destruction. Yeah. And you are talking about a king, a human being, first of all, that came and destroyed the works of darkness. Christmas celebration connotes obedience over disobedience, connoted life over death, connoted prosperity over poverty, and connoted every good thing of life. And it's also connoted, he came, he saw, he conquered. As a human, you have to give an assignment to people that will always represent you well. And that's what Christmas connoted. God trusted Jesus, and Jesus represented well. And hence today, we are celebrating his birth. Because he came, he saw, he conquered, leaving that as a legacy for all of us. So we are celebrating victory. We're celebrating obedience over disobedience, life over darkness and death.
So at the time of celebration like this, there are some who look back and say, wow, the year has been so good to me, and I've had challenges. What kind of message and encouragement do you have for such persons?
Okay, for those who are saying the year is good or not good. Yeah, you have to be very optimistic that the fact that you are alive and that God has done this for you, and you are still going to be very, very optimistic, not pessimistic, because life is going to offer you lots of good. Jesus suffered a lot of things, and today he's seated at the right-hand side of power. So there is no condition you are passing through today, no matter how obscure it may look, that is permanent. Just like in Nigeria, whatever we are experiencing today is transient. It's not going to be forever. Nigeria is going to later bounce out to become one of the superpower nations of the world. If we can be consistent in good policy making from our political leaders, if we can be very consistent in making sure that every policy we jump out or we dish out from our table will be what will better the lives of the citizens. Nigeria, with consistency of purpose, will be a very great nation. So anybody who is feeling downcasted at this time, don't, because there is hope at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, so we're back on our terrestrial programming now, Reverend Odinkanwa and those who are listening to us. So my last question for you on a day like this, as I drove towards the office, I saw lots of people, smiles on their faces, optimism in the midst of the, some have called it the crunching economic situation we find ourselves. Can you just share with the people what you think 2026 should and will be like?
I've said it, I think in the other forum I was speaking. Now, Nigeria is going to experience, more especially from now to the second quarter of the year, we're going to experience a lot of changes, both in the political space and the economic space of this nation. I love the Nigerian spirit. We are always very, very, not pessimistic, but very optimistic. That Nigerian spirit is what Jesus connoted. And so we must not be downcasted. Next year is going to be full of a harvest for this nation. I'm not just saying to psych up, but this is exactly what God has told us, and this will be what Nigeria will experience. Nobody should write down the nation yet. We are bouncing back.
Reverend Uduchi Majesty Odinkanwa says Nigeria is bouncing back. Thank you so much, sir, for the optimism.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so we'll continue in our programming.